So fuck my wealth. Only been a few hours, but it feel like days. Only been days, but it feel like months. I've been gone for a year, only roll like once.
So before you start anything, you want to first make sure you have the right VFX, and you want to install Reactor. Reactor is a plugin for Davinci that you can install for free. I'll leave a tutorial in the description. So first, if you want to add or install any plugins inside of Reactor, you want to go into Workspace, Scripts, Comp, Reactor, and Open Reactor. And after it opens up, you want to install these ones. I'll show them for you. Chromatic Displacement, Defocus Gamma, ML Fast Chroma, ML Kaleidoscope, ML Twitch, MT Glitch Tools, VHS, and Xglow. So to do the text that I did in the video, you want to first have a text from up here. You want to drag it here and just split it however you want, and just type in your text. And you want to use Microsoft Himalaya for your font. You can change the spacing between letters. I just use 1.12 because it looks the best. I've used in most of my videos. And after doing that, I headed to Fusion. And what I do is I shift space XF for transform. You can adjust the positioning with the center and the size and aspect ratio and the angle of your text, but for our case I want to adjust the y-axis or the vertical movement of the text and make it appear down here, emerging from below the screen. So what I do is I change the y variable or the y to -0.1 and put a keyframe at the first frame of the text, and then I go to the end and I put in 0.1 right here. And you want to open up a spline and have this graph. You can resize the graph to fit both of the keyframes here, and you want to make the graph something like this. You can make it either smoother or sharper. Smoother thing for this example, like this. Skip. Or you can have it sharper, like this. This is a pretty smooth one, but you can also have it really sharp to like this, where it just instantly pops up on screen almost. But I personally have it more smoother. Like more around here and here. Just, you have to play around with the graphs a lot in order to get the type of ease in you want. But it looks pretty good, and after we're done, I want to add Xglow, so shift space Xglow. You should have installed this in Reactor, and this, the gain is the brightness. You want to lower it to like 0.2. Adjust. You can change the color of the text if you want to. I made it yellow in my video, so that's what I'll be using as an example. First thing you do is syncing, and what I synced first was the knife throws, the updraft, the right click knife jet animation, the knife pullout, the sheriff equip, the shooting animation, and the knife pullout. For velocity, this is not going to be a full like in-depth tutorial. It's going to be a simple one, so these are all the effects I use. I'll display them later, but what you want to do is you want to have time stretcher on, and you want to keyframe your keyframes to these ones. This is your start keyframe, which goes here. This is your end keyframe, which goes here. And there's multiple ways you could do this. Velocity is really important to get down. You want to like focus much of your time on this, as this is more important than the effects that you layer on. So this is the graph that I use for my sheriff equip. This is the effect used on my sheriff clip. This is a zoom in after. And this is the shooting animation. So for Pancrop, it's pretty straightforward. It just zooms ins and outs. You can zoom in either like on like at the center of the screen or at like the right or left side. So for example, I zoomed out of the sheriff onto the center of the screen. And it's pretty straightforward. This is the graph I use. You can adjust when necessary, but I made it something like this. If you're planning to adjust the center, you want to make sure the graphs look just as even, like this. They should look about the same when you're in one of them, and what I recommend you do is first adjust the size by just do this, and you can focus on the size, and then this you can just adjust just the center and try to replicate the graphs of both of them so that they align. So now the last part of the video, we are going to cover the VFX that I use that you should have installed in the Reactor plugin. So for what I do sometimes with like when I cut from a black screen to a clip, I would add a color corrector, and I would keyframe it for red for the first frame and then have it normal for the fourth frame. It's pretty straightforward. You just make it red and then keyframe this and make it just normal by adjusting the hue and sat. And another thing you could also do is defocus gamma. This is essentially like a lens blur, and these are the settings I use. And then you can also adjust the graph as shown. I have the keyframe at the end of the clip from here to here and have a nice curve to it so that the blur eases out nicely. And I also recommend having a flicker addition if you're gonna have your red in here, or an exposure by doing a gain adjust from here to the end of the clip. Other ones I use, which I will pull up, are erode dilate. This one, I have it just an X amount, O2 here, and then at the end I have it 0 with a curve something like this. And for me, for camera shakes, these are the settings that I use. And this is the graph that I use for my shakes. I have the strength, the settings here, and that's all.